So we have Brian joining us now. We were joking about this before we got on. You started as a backup goalie on the Redwoods, and now you're getting ready to play in a championship game for the Whipsnakes. How do you sum up the roller coaster this PLL season's been for you?
It's definitely been a unique one, but it's been great. Obviously, given the opportunity with the Redwoods at training camp, I enjoyed being with them. Coach Nat and all them kind of laid it out and said that they think I could be playing and they want me to see me playing. And then it was the Whipsnakes that picked me up off the roster. So very fortunate to find a home with them. Obviously, the familiarity with the Maryland guys, and some of them my teammates, some of them I coached and recruited when I was at Maryland. So it's definitely a perfect match for me.
What's the opportunity like when in the postseason your number is called and you get a chance? Like, what goes through your head?
I think it's just, the mindset of a goalie is always you're one shot away, whether the starter's not playing well, the starter gets hit in the thumb, the starter gets a penalty. You kind of have that mindset of that most important shot's the next one, whether it's yours or someone else's. So I've that's how I've been, of just being ready to go whenever my number's called. But obviously having the experience and playing in the pros for a while is helping kind of relax the nerves a little bit in the playoffs.
You're stopping like 58% the two playoff wins for the Whipsnakes so far. And I think back 2015, probably in terms of like save percentage, your best year as a pro with the Ohio Machine, your last year in there in Ohio. Compare like where you're playing now to that Brian Phipps. Similar or different?
That's a good question. I mean, I think I'm probably more of a vocal coach on the field in terms of kind of dictating and hopefully kind of orchestrating our defense more so than the higher percentage of saves I made probably when I was earlier in my career. But again, I just try to do whatever I can to help the team and help out. And it's just fun being out there still. So I still feel young again out there. Day two afterwards, it's a little different, the recovery. But during the game, it's the same fun-loving kid that loves playing lacrosse with his teammates.
Oh, and speaking of kids, you have one of your own now. We should mention that this summer, more than just playing, you became a father, which is even more special. Can you sum up this whole experience and how cool it is to now do this as a father, granted, a very young child, but still doing this as a dad?
Yeah, that was probably the most special moment of this past weekend, is having my family in the stands and my daughter Mackenzie able there to, I think she slept majority of the game, but just being there in the stands was definitely emotional to start the game, looking up in the crowd, and obviously afterwards being able to hug her and see my wife and my parents and in-laws. It was just very special, kind of coming full circle of my career. But it's definitely like I know Kyle Harrison mentioned that he wanted to play where his kids could see him play, and I think that's the same kind of mentality that I'm having right now.
So what you're saying is the dad strength is real. Like this is happening after you're a dad. This is real dad strength.
Yeah, I definitely think that kicked in this past weekend. But it's the way that you view life now after having a child. It's crazy, but you just appreciate what you can do, and when you have to do something, you have to do it. Time is of essence, and your schedule is not as important as her schedule. So it's just great to be able to be out there and have a loving and supporting family to be there. And the PLL was great. We had Mackenzie right before we were out supposed to play the Water Dogs in Colorado, and I was on paternity leave. So they established a nice package there to support us, that I could be there with my wife for our first child. It's very similar to John Hoss and Katie Hoss this past weekend. So it's very fortunate that the PLO is doing that for our players, and it worked out very well.
That's really cool, and you got a couple of new young Whipsnakes fans hanging out now as kids of players. When you look at your career, you're 33 now, and probably younger in your professional career. You have a chance in the postseason. It's different than now. Like, how do you look at this opportunity now, knowing it's probably in the latter stages? Who knows how many more years you're going to play?
Yeah, definitely soaking up every opportunity that I'm out there. Like I said, just being fortunate to be around guys that I know, and rather than starting fresh as a 33-year-old on a new team, the experience and the relationships that I have with them has definitely helped me kind of roll with the punches and be able to fit in there, and they respect me and I respect them and have that trust factor already.
What have you seen from having a chance to play for Jim Stagnitta as a pro coach? Because he seems like he's got quite the rapport with this team.
Yeah, I was very impressed with how he handles the players in a professional manner and holds them accountable. And, it's something that I noticed right off the bat, and I can see why they've had success. And hopefully we can continue to have the success. But he definitely holds us accountable and holds us to higher standards and treats us like pros and expects us to be pros. And it was great when he got after us at halftime in the Redwoods, and our guys responded. And he's done that a few times throughout the year in our Zoom calls and our meetings. And I think it's great. And it puts that. It just shows how important it is to him and important it is to each other. And, we've made that commitment to do that for each other.
Finally, we can't leave you without talking about your own team that you are coaching at Archbishop Spalding in one of the best leagues, high school leagues in the entire country in the MIAA. What did that mean to make a run to the MIAA championship game?
Yeah, I'm very fortunate to work at Spalding. We have a great athletic facility, great athletic department, but the guys and the student athletes that have come here, they're the ones that made that commitment to make those sacrifices, to commit, to be kind of the best individuals that they can so that they can make the team better. Surrounded by a great coaching staff and Coach Evan Hoppel, who's been a huge help to me, and Spencer Ford. So I just, all the right pieces came together. And I think the 2020 team, could have been our best year. And then obviously last year we've had a ton of success. So hopefully we can keep it going. But it's just fun being around guys that are committed, that want to win, and that are great kids.
How do you compare making a championship run as a player to then one as a coach?
Hopefully the championship ending for me as a player is a little different than the ending as a coach this past year. But it's definitely something that I think that my players have all been following and watching, and Coach Spencer Ford was there, and Coach Hockle came to watch the semifinal game. So the support there is great, and they see that that I'm one of them too, so I can relate to them in terms of the playing aspects of it. And it was very cool to see our guys and see how far they come and taken our program to that championship level. So probably as a coach is more special and more impactful, knowing that the 35 guys on our roster experienced it, and the 7,500 fans in the stands, and the majority of them were Spalding people to watch was really cool.
Brian, it's been really cool to watch this run for you. I'm really happy to see everything you've accomplished here in the postseason. Good luck as you get ready for this championship game in a couple of weeks. We appreciate the time.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you guys.